basically specializes in big companies and municipalities. So they push our items towards that, geared towards those people that might be looking for those. They do all the advertising. They come and take all the pictures. There is no cost to the county. The buyers pay the buyer's premium that covers that cost. Several counties around the area that I've talked to at Road School all recommended them, so they've had really good luck with them. So
I don't have any problem at all using Purple Wave, myself, but, you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever dealt with them, but I think they're the
Reputable.
established company.
I liked it because they push it nationwide. You know, Krukenberg's is right here, and we have several auction companies in the county, but they pushed it nationwide towards people that are looking for the stuff that we're selling.
Right.
So I think we'll get a little better money out of it that way.
If-
We need an official action.
I move that we use Purple Wave Stan.
Okay.
We got it. We got the
Motion by
official action.
Doug, second
Thank you,
by
gentlemen.
Stan.
Yeah.
We'll move forward with Purple Wave.
You wanna get rid of all those snow plows? I mean, I'm just getting used to.
I don't
seeing
know. They were doing a good job of blocking wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you gonna touch on 000?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was all my stuff. Now it's
Yeah.
Brad's turn.
Yeah, so, the paving on 000, they're gonna they hope to finish up today as long as they don't get any rain, no equipment breakdowns. They'll get the top coat done. They'll be done paving. Then, obviously they gotta come back, put edge stone and stripe it.
What about
Yes.
700?
700, they actually finish first. So it's done. Yes, they're gonna finish paving out hopefully today.
Did they, did you have somebody out there checking slope and things like that?
No, not yet. They're-
Okay, but you will check.
Yep. So no, it looks good. They're finishing that. So one other thing, so far we have sold 1,586 buggy plates, which is, it's higher than what it normally is at this point in time. Now, obviously, we'll see by the end of May or middle of May. And then last thing is, just as a reminder, we're still taking dust control. People wanted it done to come in and get it set up until May 15th. That'll be the last day we accept dust control. So, and other than that, that's all we got.
So, okay, you sold 1,500 and some buggy plates. You recall what we sold last year all total?
It's typically been about 2,700.
27?
Yeah.
Well, I'd venture to say it won't be any less than that.
No, but if it keeps going at the same rate, yeah, we'll be over that.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, just by population, it should increase.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
They're probably in big demand because of the color.
Yeah, and we've had a few good comments and a few
Have
questions.
you really?
Yeah,
I noticed they're
Yep.
kind of orange.
they stand out, but
Set safety first.
yes, they
There you
kind of
go.
match their, triangle.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
there a thought in the future of not continuing to reissue the hard plate with some kind of a sticker that would update year to year or something? I assume that would be a lot less cost.
Yeah, we
like
have,
the state does.
yeah, they do get a sticker that they mount separate from the plate.
Right.
And it's kind of a check because the sticker is a lot harder to take off and it has to match a plate.
Okay. But
So-
what I'm
I
thinking
think-
about is not actually
Yeah.
reissuing the
plate
hard plate,
itself.
but having a sticker that would update, that would say 27 for next year, or
Yeah.
something like that on
Like
the
they do
year,
cars.
like they do cars.
Yeah, the thing, right now, what I would see though is you'd have to get a sticker that's about the size of plate, so officers might be able to notice it more easily. I don't know, cause the sticker they get now is like that.
No, I'm talking about something that would go over that would modify the plate.
We used
That
to
would
do that.
update
Correct, I
the
got you.
year,
Yeah.
effective year on the plate
Yes.
versus reissuing a new plate.
Right.
Something
We
that we
used
do.
to do that
I mean,
until we
do
went.
our vehicles, don't
Yeah.
we?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You
We,
said you
we,
used to do
we
that?
used to do that until
Yeah.
was passed to change the rate every year. So now we change the plate color every year. So it's more obvious that when the officers are driving down the road, okay, this year it's orange, next year it's green. It's gonna be obvious if you didn't renew your plate as
Yeah,
opposed to
yeah.
trying to see that little sticker on the side.
It's a good point. It's a
But
good
it is, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can have a further discussion with them because we're meeting with the highway soon.
Good.
About the possibility
deal.
of maybe doing
yeah,
that. 'Cause
just
We
trying
could
to,
change the
yeah.
color, we could change the color of the sticker, right? Similar to how, registration stickers on all
Yeah.
vehicles
Right.
is a different color every year.
Yep.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I think you're doing good.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
fine,
you.
guys, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't
Rich
see
told
Rich
me,
out
he
here.
said something about if he's not there, he's got something going on.
He's had a sprinkler test that
Yeah,
kind of got
yeah.
surprised him this morning. I know they're doing a
Right.
sprinkler test over the
Right,
courthouse. I noticed
right.
this morning, so he's busy elsewhere, so maybe he'll pop in here. If so, we'll grab him later. Callie and Colton. Kaylee or Callie? Correct me. Kaylee? Stand corrected. Thank you.
Colton or Colton?
Colton.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we were, obviously, we were all three here when the tourism tax was approved by council. So let you all take it from there.
Yes, so as far as my call to action that I have in my slides, my call to action for the commissioners is to allow us to establish a dedicated tourism fund with 100% of the innkeeper's tax revenue reserved for tourism purposes as Indiana Code 6918 requires. And then allow us to create a local advisory board made up of trusted business owners and community stakeholders. At this time, I have reached out to some trusted business owners and community stakeholders. And working with our innkeepers tax committee, we have worked together to kind of look at some individuals within the county that we think would be effective to have on this advisory board to give good input as far as where these tourism funds could be allocated. At this time, Mayor Rickard does have 2 appointments that he can make that are being considered. As far as who I've reached out to several, but the ones that have been on board and interested have been Max Miller, Josh Zimmerman, who is with Lodging, and then Sean Payne, who is with the Limberlost in Geneva.
Okay, is there a mandate that specifies how many board members there should be?
Yes,
How many is that?
and so that would be within our.
Yeah, so within the Indiana code, it does specify how that commission is formed. And so based on that, let me get to the right point here. It must be an odd number. It's based on the population. You can choose however many you want. Decatur, because of its size and population, has 2 automatic appointments. We chose 7 individuals, odd number, because you don't want it to be too big. But with that, there are also requirements of who can be on that board. So it has to have somebody from lodging, somebody that's, either a hotel, motel, Airbnb, Vrbo. You have to have somebody within attraction style businesses, restaurants, AV cinema, like those type of things. And so you have to be mindful of who you put on there. And then you all get essentially, in this case, the way we would like it established, 5 appointments, the commissioners do, with 2 coming from Mayor Rickard because of the population.
So it sounds to me like there's 7, after it's all done, there's gonna be 7 members.
That's what we would like.
And
yes.
mayor makes 2, in Decatur, and the commissioners make 5.
Correct.
Yes,
And do you
ultimately.
present us whom you're recommending to be on that board?
That's what we did, just to make it easier for you, so you didn't have to chase anybody down.
Right.
Because Kaylee works with these individuals,
Okay.
she went out and found the ones who would be interested within those specific areas we're required to have, and populated a group for you so that you can just either affirm that or say, hey, we'd like to go look for our own people.
So I would only ask is there someone from the city of Bern or Geneva on that board?
Geneva from the Limberlost, we have reached out, or I have reached out to several individuals from Bern. I haven't got a lot of feedback yet. I think mainly because that has been kind of a conversation of this could be happening. We're not for sure.
Okay, got
I
it.
think now that it's kind of more established, it might
Okay.
be more of an interest.
And how soon do you want to present us 5 names so that we can move forward on this?
As soon as we have, them. So I mean, if we can get them together by next week, we'd love to come back and say, hey, here are the 5
I don't have
names.
any problem with that myself. Stan, do you have anything?
And it is certainly,
Are you gonna put anybody on there from the Amish community? They could
we can.
potentially represent some
Absolutely.
strong tourism for Adams
Yeah, I
County.
think that would certainly be ideal for us to have that voice in there. We'd like to, to your point, Doug, we want to have somebody from every community, so that it's a countywide commission. It's not, one specific community. And having an Amish board owner, I think makes a ton of sense.
You can extend the invitation.
Mhm.
Exactly. exactly.
Colton, can you let me know what specific, you said Indiana code, what you're referencing?
Yeah, I've got a copy of.
Is it like 6/9/18?
6/9/18.
Yes.
Yep.
You guys come back next week with some of this. By next week, we'll get to Clayton, the
Yep.
fund that will have to go in, because we'll have to create a fund for those collections to come into.
Well, and we weren't sure, based on the decision, if there's any sort of formal resolution, something that had to be done other
That
than
would
just,
probably be next week
hey,
after
we approve
we.
this commission and here are the people. So
I
we,
think that
this
would
was
be,
kind
Clayton
of,
can work on that for next week.
this
we
was the
get that phone
precursor to
number.
kind of get those wheels in motion so we could come back.
Do we need to approve the establishment of the commission today? And then the members of the commission, when they're available, or should we wait and do all that at the same time?
No.
You can approve of the establishment of it today, that's fine, and then, contingent on, them bringing back, proposed members and talking about that, because I'd really like to look at the code Colton's referring to, prior to your approval of the makeup of such a commission.
Okay,
I wouldn't mind holding off until you've had a chance to look at it.
That's fine too.
okay, and the other question I would have, I guess before we do that, Steve, would be, does this commission board members, are they exclusively the ones that make a decision how funds are gonna be spent?
I mean, ultimately, that's on, I guess, the commissioners, because you are the ones somewhat overseeing that.
Well, I know we appoint, we approve who
Yes.
you comes up, but who actually determines if you collect $50,000? Who determines how that 50,000 is gonna be spent?
I would envision it being the commission who approves.
I would like
budget that-
clarification on that
Yeah.
before we approve
I
it.
would envision Kaylee putting a budget together based on what that anticipated revenue is,
Okay,
getting that commission's approval. And then.
well, I'd like to specifically know who determines how the dollars are spent.
And I could get with Carrie from Indiana Tourism Association, since this is something new and it's kind of been a what if, or if this happens. They haven't been able to really give like a lot of concrete, like here's how this would work. So I think now reaching out to her, letting her know that it was approved by council, and then letting her know what route we need to go to next, she would be able to advise and support there.
Okay, I
We can
agree with
ask around.
Stan, I'd like to wait.
Yeah.
So,
We can,
going to Doug's question, sorry, Tony, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we can't ask surrounding counties about that, Doug, because other counties have it. Wells County has it,
Find out.
so it's not a hard thing to.
And I think it's fair with Doug's question and a few of the other questions for me to do some review here prior to next week or in the coming weeks, because I feel like this kind of popped up pretty quickly, so
Right.
didn't necessarily know I needed to have some research done for
Well,
today.
why don't you get on the agenda for next week and let's see where we are? Is that enough time, Clayton?
Mhm.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Mr. Compton. Jim, come on forward.
Mr. Compton,
You're up.
okay, make sure you have your hearing aids in today.
I'm supposed to be joined by two others.
Okay, well, we're
We're running early, so if you wanna wait, you can
I don't know
wait,
why
but
you-
we're running a little early, believe it or not.
We were told 10:15.
Yeah, I hear you.
What? I'd say you get the full salary, you don't have to split
Okay.
it 3 ways now.
But not that I don't enjoy these types of meetings,
Hey, Jim.
never having done too much. How you doing, Tony? I will be glad to. You already know what I'm gonna say and why I'm here, right?
pretty well.
For the most part, but we'd like to hear it anyway.
Okay. Actually, interestingly enough, this is the 75th year for the National Day of Prayer.
Wow.
So it's been going on that long, and it's been going, this is my 30th year in Decatur. I can't believe that. And it's been going on here all the time I've been here. So on behalf of the Decatur Ministerial Association, we're asking permission again to use the Peace Monument for the National Day of Prayer at noon on May the 7th. We will, much the same, we'll have several different people doing different prayers. We have the American Legion doing the presentation of colors. We have a lady for the national anthem. We have a children's choir coming. So it will be a patriotic religious day.
Well, Mr. Compton, some of our decisions are easy and some of them are in between and some of them are tough.
I remember those.
This is an easy one. I move we approve Mr. Compton's request.
Yeah, I second that, and was it last year it kind of got rained out, we had to go to the church
Yeah,
auditorium?
last year we go, our rain venue is the Baptist church.
Yeah, so everybody knows kind of what the alternative is, but yeah, that worked real well too,
Yes,
so.
it's always pretty well attended.
It's always nice when it's outside though, for sure. But yeah, it's good you got an alternative real close there.
It's better over there.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
long as
no,
we pray.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good. Motion passes.
Good.
You're on.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I'll
Jim.
wait for the others to let them know the meeting's over.
Yeah. Take care. All right.
Okay, next on our agenda would be Michelle Lingrick, but she has asked to be delayed till next week. So we're gonna move on past her. I see Bob and
Jim,
Sheriff. are-
Jim, just a minute. Jim, could you give Katie one? Try we-
I will leave these and anybody wants one.
Oh, sorry, Steve.
Nope, we're good.
Jim, are those tickets to get in free?
No, these are bookmarks, so as you'll remember to come.
Oh.
However, as I mentioned to the group, this is an election year, so obviously politicians want to be seen as godly, so I'll leave these.
So you'll
right.
have a good crowd.
Thank you. Thank
You'll
you.
have a good crowd.
You like to fire with breakfast.
Thanks.
You got any actions?
Sheriff Mayhor, Bob, you guys want to come forward? Again, we're running a little early, but if you're ready, I'm ready.
I'm not ready.
Who's backing up who?
Employee photo ID badges. I thought you were leading this. No, I thought you were.
Oh, I was supposed to back him up, so.
Okay.
I don't have the quote.
So, apparently it's the quote, you guys don't have the quote. We, to do the ID badges correctly, we need to get an ID badge printer, which I got a quote for that. And then there is a piece of software that needs activated in our access control system that would take the names, employee ID numbers, all that information, the pictures. And I also have a quote for the camera that the thought was to, when someone's onboarded with the county, to get their picture taken and then bring all that together through the software and the access control system and print them a nice ID badge. So people know that we are actually supposed to be here, that don't know everybody here. To activate the software in our current system, which it's a one-time deal. Sorry about this. I didn't know you had, but here's a quote. And
Couldn't we just do it at booking?
Wrong system.
Oh,
And to get it all into our system, you'd have to be copying and pasting over.
Because you can see
It would
how
be
tall everybody was.
very time consuming, but we can do that when we take their picture, but.
Does this also, it's the access for doors and stuff too in the badge
Correct.
itself?
So this would be get me in the door and
And one reason we do that, so you don't have a fob in that. And
absolutely.
if they don't have their ID, they won't get in their office. So that's kind of the main thing behind that, because we want them to have that on them at all times.
So
You
the,
want to gate these?
Correct.
yeah.
Oh, you want to get rid of the fobs?
Well, I mean, the ID will open the doors though, right?
Or is it just an ID to see who you are and we still use
That,
name?
I guess that's what I'm asking. Will the ID open the door or do we still have to have the fobs?
They both can still open the doors.
So either or.
But you're saying you don't want either or?
Well, if they have the fob and they're used to that.
We don't want both. It's what we don't want.
Well, but
Well,
I mean, I don't want to have both.
You won't have to. If
don't
we
have
have
to
an
have
ID, it will do both. There's also an
but you could
option
use either one though.
Yeah.
I mean, cause I like the card, cause I was.
with the cards that I ordered a couple years ago. Those will actually the thought was a couple of years ago was actually integrate those so they would also work the time clocks.
Right.
Now, the cards would be the only ones that could either open our doors or work on the time clock. But we would have to get a module in our time clocks to actually read those badges at that point.
So every employee would have a badge,
Correct.
including part-time?
Correct.
If they're getting a paycheck from the county, they will have a badge.
Even deputies.
Now, okay, when you say a paycheck from county, you mean some type of a regular paycheck? I just think of the election board. They meet 2 or 3 times a year.
I would say no to that, I guess, correct. I guess it's up to you guys if you want all the other boards, like the members who hold meetings in here after hours, if you want them to have access to this building, then you could allow them to have.
Well,
That access
I
too.
just
That's
think
up to you
about
guys.
the plan commission board members, you know, the BZA board members, they get paid by the county,
Correct.
but it's only a monthly, some
Stipend.
months they don't even meet.
That and someone else is usually letting them in the door.
Yeah.
anyway,
Right.
So
I wouldn't think
that's up
that
to
those
you
people
guys.
would need, I would.
I wouldn't think
No.
so.
The deputies, have IDs already that I produce. So I don't think they need to have 2. It shows that they are employees of Adams County Sheriff's Office, so, and we have fobs already to get into the courthouse and things like that, so I don't think we need to duplicate that. And normally when they're working, they're in uniform, so I don't think it's necessary that they have 2 ID badges.
And the, part of the importance of doing this is, as we continue to improve our security, if you don't have an ID badge,
You'll go through the
you
full
would go through the
process,
full process of scan, security, whatnot.
search.
Or you
everything.
would bypass that as long as you're, can provide your
Correct.
ID and.
But we got, you know, I can't give you a specific number, but we do have a lot of part-time people that are paid by Adams County, but they're not that frequently.
it would be anybody that wants to unlock a door to come
Does the
in.
cost include how many ID cards you make? In other words, all these people that Doug's talking about, how,
It's unlimited. The only thing that limits how many you can print is the ribbons for the printer.
and what is the quote for doing all of this that you have? Because
$7,836.30.
Yeah, but that does or does not include the printer. I didn't read the quote.
That's the
closely.
printer. The
That's-
printer,
okay.
the
That's the printer and
camera,
the software upgrade?
the software upgrade, yeah.
Does that
It's-
include a
it's-
time clock module?
No.
Okay, so there might be, cause
If we wanted to do the time clocks, then there would be.
Yeah, I think
a
it may
module
be
for that.
discussion.
You know,
for another day.
I think, I'm for somehow willing to approve what we're talking about. I'd like a little bit more time about who we're actually going to,
issue the cards to.
right.
That's totally your
It
prerogative.
feels to me like something Shannon can bring to us, a recommendation.
Cause there's like vendors that we have in a lot, like, you know, maybe an electrician, they would, at that point would say, yeah, well, that electrician has access to some doors around here. He should have a badge also.
Well, I think
So-
Shannon needs to maybe, not that she don't have things to do, but kind of sort through and let us know whom and how many cards we're gonna need.
The good news is with our access control system, you can take that badge and you can make it open or not open, probably any door with
Correct.
electronic
Any door
opener.
by time, yeah. And the other thing we
by
might want
time,
to look
yeah.
at too, which we've ran into in the past, is having the credentials expire. If you don't use it within 35 days, it expires and it doesn't work again until you say, hey, I
Yeah,
haven't used this in 35 days, but I want it to work. Well, why do you want it to work if you haven't used it in 35 days?
Yeah.
I don't wanna make it too
Good.
complicated.
Good.
Well, no, because some
Good deal.
people lose them though. And
Right.
then they're,
They don't wanna
Hey,
tell us they
I
lost
lost it 6 months ago, and you're like, oh, well, yeah.
can you talk to Mike, see if you can find a line in cybersecurity to pay for this? Gotta be paid from somewhere.
Yeah, we just need to figure out where it's gonna be paid out of.
So do we need to approve something today?
I think we do. We need to approve that
Well, unless
purchase,
you
I
want
would
more,
say.
unless you want more time. to
Well, that's
consider.
my only question would be is, what would it take to coordinate with the time clock? Maybe, or cause is that something we could do later?
It's something we can do later. Yeah, we actually looked into it a couple years ago and
Yeah.
Well, if we're
I
looking
think it was
for
3 years
a
ago.
motion to approve the cost of the $7,836.30, Is that what you're looking for today?
Correct.
Can I,
Yeah.
with the cost of this, and I know I'm gonna be coming to you for the exterior door in the basement that goes in the boiler room where we're gonna start bringing, prisoners in. We have a quote now, everything but the door itself. I'm just wondering, when we get that quote and this, could we do that IT, or can we do that through the Cume court account?
Well,
For the
where's the
door.
money coming from? Bob, is the 7,000 coming from your account?
I
No.
don't have
That's
to.
just it. I
It's
mean, we gotta
personal-
find a
we
place
gotta
to
figure
pay
out-
this stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying, since it's all dealing with the upgrading of,
The-
with tied to the security of the jail, can we pay for that out of Cume court?
You see, the big thing was they wanted to have people with IDs as they're walking into the courthouses when they do more,
That's
more
what-
rigid
that's
security.
what brought
screening
this
at the
up.
courts.
Why don't you work with Mike, find what line you wanna pay it out of?
And also, when you talk to Mike, see if that door can be considered cybersecurity and paid for out of the cybersecurity lines that we created for him.
Okay.
Cause it just seems to me that it could be cybersecurity, right?
Well, it's definitely security. I don't know. It's cybersecurity, but it's definitely security.
Well, somebody could
And
hack,
court security.
the system, steal the ID cards, that's cybersecurity.
You can't hack our, you can't hack our badges, so.
I'll say what I want to get through State Board of Accounts. You get-
Well, okay, so we're actually, are we talking about two of the same or two separate things here?
Let's
the
deal
door's
with
separate.
let's deal with the ID
Yeah.
badges.
Okay,
We're asking permission to
move-
purchase this, we'll find out where the funds come, so we can get this ball rolling.
Okay, but
and
the
then you
doors are
will-
different.
Doors are different because we don't have all the quotes in for that yet. And then you guys will be able to set the parameters of who we issue cards to.
Okay.
We can decide that later, but we can at least get this coming and
Okay.
get it going and hooked up.
Yeah, I move that we, Sheriff made a good motion there. I will stamp for that. And
You'll,
Well, we do.
you got it,
take a
Tony?
motion.
Yeah, I gotta find a place to pay it. That's what I
Motion,
heard.
motion
Well,
to approve contingent on finding
I see
the
that
correct,
quote. We've
line
got-
item.
We've got money in
Can I,
Cume
can I have that
courthouse.
quote back, guys?
Do we want to, include that, to take that out of Cume courthouse?
Not the security badges. That's
Not the
not court,
security
it's not courthouse related. That's, everybody's gonna get a security badge. When we get to the
The
door,
door
I
might
think
go
that's a
there.
good discussion
Yeah,
about.
Door could
Cume
be
Court.
that, it could be.
Okay.
Yeah, so
you know.
I guess I move, what was against, to move forward on this without
Move
delay.
to approve the ID quote, contingent on identifying the correct funding line item.
I make that motion, Stan.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Clear as mud, right?
Okay, good, thanks very much, Rob. I know you know.
See Mark here yet.
Yeah, you know, it goes like.
Yeah.
What's the name of that company that we're talking
Lakeland
about?
Electronics.
What now?
Lakeland.
Lakeland. Okay.
We're gonna jump over Mark Wynn and move on to the jail bond refinancing discussion. You guys were all here this morning for the presentation on that. I guess, I know that refinancing would need to be approved not only by council, but by commissioners. Do you have any problem with moving forward with presentation from Baker Tilly on that refinancing?
Yeah, I
Maybe at
think
the next commission
that
meeting.
sounds great.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Me too. So you wanna make a motion to move forward with that? Well,
Yeah, I'd make that
okay,
motion.
Second.
Stan, motion by Stan, seconded by Doug. We agree to move forward with further discussion of refinancing the jail bonds. Okay.
Who made the motion, Stan or Doug?
Stan,
Okay, I'm not sure what everybody's here for, but I think we've arrived at that point on the agenda anyway. We're gonna talk about a judicial center and get a little update. Have our engineers step forward here. I know they've been working on some options for us again.
Morning, Commissioners.
So we're gonna talk about those and figure where we go from here.
you have to introduce the young lady there.
This is Maya.
I'm Maya Gullett. Nice
Hi,
to
Maya.
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Interns.
Oh, fantastic. Great learning experience.
Steve, I'm not an engineer, I'm an architect.
You're an architect, sorry. Is that
Engineer.
a dirty word? to call
Engineers get
architect
paid
an
more money.
engineer?
Engineers get paid more money.
But they don't have your status.
What's that?
They don't have your status.
Yeah.
You're the visionary, right?
Yeah.
I know.
You have a Ford?
Oh, you wanna plug in?
Yes. please.
Yes.
Well, if we plug that in, we'll have to take it out of the reader.
Oh, that's not a problem.
So let's hope we don't need both. at the same
We
time.
don't need the reader today.
When Sam comes up.
Yeah.
Maya, how do you spell your
Might
first
remind
name?
me too.
Maya?
MIA, and Gullet, GULLETT.
Well, 2 T's.
2 L's, 2 T's.
I think we gotta hit share screen. Share screen.
So to just set the stage here, this is a concept that we asked Dave to look at for us from the perspective of a new facility, a new building that would house all of our, or many of our justice offices across Third Street, freestanding building across Third Street. Am I on the right track here? Is that what we're talking about today?
Yes.
Okay.
And could we, Steve, could we just get a review of what specifically is going to be in this building?
Well,
Or did you do?
Well, that's
I
gonna- I think that's
we're
gonna be
see
part of
that.
the
Yeah, I think we're
Okay,
gonna
that's gonna
see
be
that.
part of the discussion, okay.
Yep.
I'm not aware of what.
You know, I guess for a little bit of preview, we've been asking
Is it-
Elevated.
do you not have an- Do you not have an HDMI port on your?
No.
Okay,
So then.
shoot.
We may have a
We
problem.
don't have an adapter here, do we?
We
Probably
have
need
the
US
file on a flash drive. If you
Adapter
guys.
to it.
But I'm not the IT guy either.
You call Sarah?
I mean, I don't know if we have an adapter. I can't,
Can
I
you-
can't make her computer compatible with this.
Do we have it on HDMI or on a flash drive?
Okay.
If you wanna
Hey,
plug
Maya,
plug it into
You're
yours.
welcome to use this if you wanna try it.
Yes.
Yes,
I think I've got an HDMI on there,
Are you?
or you can use.
Here's HDMI if you wanna see if it'll plug into that.
You probably won't have to log in.
Okay. Do you wanna put this?
And if that does go in, all I gotta do
Our
is,
computer should work.
Okay.
and that should be ready once you get it plugged in.
Yeah. My password's expired, so try it, see if it'll do the HDMI.
If not, I'll give you mine. My password is not expired.
Stan screwed up his password.
Yeah. It only gave me 15 days notice it was gonna expire, that's not enough. Not for a procrastinator.
Well, while she's doing that, I can tell you
Please do.
about the concept. So we looked at, this is the option of going across Third Street and placing the building between the Collier property on the north and the alley, which is adjacent to the existing Superior Court on the south. It includes the Superior Court and Circuit Court on the top floor. And on the bottom floor would be probation, community corrections. And then because of the width of the two courts above, there's some space for just shelved space on the first floor. Not much, but you could put another function in there, public defender or
Public
something.
defender, something like that.
Yeah. So that's this concept that we're gonna show you. It goes about the property line to alley, so it's tight, but you can construct this building, leave, the Superior Court Carnegie Building operational until building is built, then move Superior Court and probation into the new building.
Okay, do you have, okay, is demolition of the existing building in your plan? Or is it in your finance part of this?
No. No, it's not. But I think we had a number from about that previously on another project, another go around of this. There was a number to demolish that, and I can see if I can, I don't know if I have it here.
I think that we had kind of talked about around $100,000 to demolish. And hopefully that figure was high.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was not according to bids of any kind or estimates.
All
Thanks, Brian.
Go to the next slide.
I'll be glad.
So here's the site plan. We'll have a blow up of this on the next slide, but you can see the courthouse is to the bottom of the screen. And then Superior Court is on the left-hand side, and Collier and the other property are on the right-hand side. So this goes from the property, basically the property line or sidewalk edge on Third Street all the way back to the alley in the rear. And that red arrow on Third Street would be the entrance into the building. And let me emphasize, this is not a plan. This is a size of a building, a footprint, so that we can get this cost estimate.
Sure.
If we go this route, there'd be a lot of meetings with Judge Conrad and Kugelhan and everybody else that's in this building. But just want to get the size to get the cost estimate, okay? So a lot will change, but everything is included in here. So that would be the entrance off Third Street. You go into a lobby, and there'll be a couple elevators to go upstairs to the courts, or you can go into the larger space. Is there a arrow? Larger space in the center there, which would be the lobby for both community corrections and probation. On that right-hand side, that little L-shaped space, is there not a? Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, so that'd be the shelved space there. And then to the left of that is all the probation and community corrections, that entire complex. On the right-hand side, I'll do it. So right here is a vehicle sally port. So you'd come in off the alley into a vehicle sally port. The space to the right of that is just mechanical. But then they would transport the inmate to an elevator there, go upstairs to the second floor to get into the courts. And then just above that would be, it could be a staff entrance off of the alley where the judges and their staff and any other staff in the building could come in through that alley entrance and get on that elevator to the second floor. So in this concept, there's two elevators at the back, one for the judges and then one for staff. And at the front of the building are two elevators for public to get to the second floor. So this has 4 elevators in it.
Doing front to back.
Yeah, so you can go to the next slide. So here's the first floor plan. And again, lower right there is the vestibule into the lobby. And from that lobby, you can go into the larger area, which would be the right there, which is the waiting area to get into community corrections, probation. And then the space to the right of that is a shelf space, again, for future use. Could be any department that you so choose. To the back is the VSP or the vehicle sally port. We got some mechanical space next to that. And then again, staff entrance there with the stair tower and the 2 elevators. So from the vehicle sally port, you go left into the sally port and into the elevator that would take the inmates upstairs. And the staff can go up the other elevator to get to that second floor. There's a stair tower for emergency exit, which we'd have to have two stair towers by code. Be the one at the back and one at the front. And again, the 4 elevators that I had mentioned. So this goes, that dimension shows it going about, like I said, from the Collier property all the way to the alley next to the courthouse. Second floor looks like this. It's got Superior Court on the left and Superior Court on the right. Again, those could be interchanged, but and then at the front of the building is a stair, and then we've got 2. This thing is tricky. 2 elevators right there that come from the first floor, and then you can enter into either of the courtrooms. At the back of the building, we have the elevator here where the inmates and the sheriff would bring up the inmate into a holding cell, and then into the back of the 2 courtrooms. On the left-hand side are the court reporters and some other offices down here. We got the auxiliary court right there, toilets, security and so on down there. At the back would be the judge's chambers here. And on the other side is the judge's chamber here with all the other support spaces here. So again, all the functions are in there. We would, I'm sure, once we meet with everybody that's in the building, this will get tweaked, but again, it's just to get a size for the project.
This is a similar footprint that you proposed out at the jail site also.
It is, but at the jail site, excuse, I'm got a bug in my throat, but at the jail site, if you recall, we had the 2 courtrooms on the ground floor. And then we just had community corrections probation on the 2nd floor. And then the rest was roof, if you recall. So this is more square footage than the jail site, because now we have the courts on the 2nd floor with the probation, community corrections, and that shelf space on the ground floor.
What drove you to think about putting the courts on the 2nd floor versus the 1st floor?
Excuse me. That's the ideal scenario for security reasons, to get them up and away from the public.
Okay. Good.
I mean, you could put them on the ground floor. You could.
I would agree that would be the ideal situation, to have them on the 2nd floor.
I think for the amount of traffic that would come into a building like that, the courts would be better on the 2nd floor myself too.
The other reason to put them on the 2nd floor is it's easier to separate the judge and the staff flow from the inmates being brought up and from the public. It's easier to do that if it's on a 2nd floor. You can put the elevators in the middle and bring the inmates up and take them to each side.
So in this first and 2nd floor, this proposal would accommodate both courts in a new building. It would accommodate probation and community corrections in a new building. And then with the flex space on the 1st floor, you could even accommodate an office such as a public defender on that 1st floor also.
Right.
So in this concept then, maybe this is not, we would leave the clerk and the prosecutor in the historic courthouse, in the old courthouse, but we would vacate the 2nd floor of the courthouse, the historic courthouse, in this strategy. Okay.
Yeah.
And are we under the assumption after completion of this building that the old Superior Court building would come down?
Well,
I mean, that's not your question, that's ours.
Yeah.
That's
You're gonna
been,
lose 40 parking spaces with putting this building here. If you tore down Carnegie, you'd gain 20 spots.
Okay.
that's kind of been my assumption, is that building would be demolished for parking.
Good.
So if you bought the Collier property and tore down Superior Court, you'd have about 40.
Might be able to replace what we consumed through the construction process.
According to Tony, you needed an 18 additional spots.
Yeah, I
So
think
where you
that's
pick
the-
those up would be up to you.
Okay.
So with this proposal, the way you've got it shown does not acquire the Collier property. It fits it on.
Doesn't
the
require,
property.
we acquire the property.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, you
think,
could fit this in between.
yeah, this one doesn't require.
It can go on property we already own.
Right, yes,
And I think that was an important part of the request we had, was that we not
yeah,
consider, not be
yeah.
forced to consider acquiring other property. We may need to somehow for parking, but not part of the construction
Right.
phase. Good.
Well, and I think effectively, this provides an answer to all of the issues that the committee has identified with our current system. So, I think both in safety, efficiency, cost-wise, I think it provides us with an option that is a long-term option
Yeah, but we haven't covered the cost wise part yet.
Yeah. But there are other options that have been floated, you know, such as taking the first floor of the courthouse for Superior Court and staff and putting an office building that might potentially be a smaller footprint across Third Street. So there's options, but, and you're right. I mean, we don't have an estimate for a full
I
two-story.
do have an estimate.
Oh, you do have an estimate.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move.
Let's hear,
I'd like to
let's hear
hear
the
your
bad
estimate.
news.
That's the exciting part.
So I don't know, you can blow that up a little bit so you can read that bottom line. This option is about right at 22 million. That's without soft costs.
Without,
Yeah, no soft costs.
so, and they're 25% on top.
Well, that's an average. It could be 20%, it could be 30%.
Right. Well, if you just figure
If you,
25, that's
yeah, if
fair.
you figure 25, I ran the number, I think it's 27 million. You can plug that in your calculator, but I think 22 times 1.25.
25% of that will be 5,481,571.
so 22 plus that. 27 plus.
Right. And it always varies, because, but in this concept, if you don't buy the Collier property, obviously, you don't have that money, but if you have to buy the Collier property, of course, you have to put in the demolition costs into this. Your financing costs, your FF&E, RFE, soil boring, survey. Testing
Change
during
orders.
testing during construction, you want contingency for change orders, yeah.
Sure. One of the conversations that we had with council this morning, we were trying to focus in on a budget number. And with their input and their discussion, as well as I think some limitations probably that we're gonna be seeing, or that we see from the state as far as project size on a controlled project that we can do without going through a referendum. It feels to me like we're really focusing in on an $18 to $20 million project, including soft costs. So if we think about that, feels to me like, while I think this would answer all of our needs, this may be beyond the scope of what we feel like that we can move to financially. So one of the conversations that we've been having recently, and I know I had it with the judges, and I think individually, the other commissioners have talked strategy back and forth with judges and what might be a possibility. And I think Stan was starting to allude to this. One of the questions I had early on, and you and I have bannered this back and forth, was what the possibility was of using the first floor of the historic courthouse, the courthouse, for Superior Court. And I know when we talked about using that full first floor of the courthouse, there probably were some pretty significant structural concerns there with removing load-bearing walls and whatnot on a building that's over 100 years old. Scares me to death. I don't know what the engineers would say, but it scares me to death. So we, again, in conversation with the judges, what I asked, we talked about the number of, first off, we already have a pretty well-functioning circuit courtroom with all of the accommodations that we need for jury trials there. We don't have a lot of jury trials in Adams County. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a great thing. So compliments to our staff here for figuring out how not to drive a lot of jury trials. But bottom line is, we don't have a lot of jury trials here. So the question I asked Sam and Chad was, do we have to have accommodations for both courts to have a jury trial? And if not, is there a possibility to share jury resources and whatnot? And I know that in probably a new design, you could design something that would somehow share those jury space. And it may not seem like a lot of space, but when I tried to scale it off, it's about 25%, 25 to 30% of our courtroom, of our court space, not our courtroom, but our court space is dedicated to supporting a jury trial. So pushing the ball back into, and Sam, chime in here anytime you feel comfortable.
Yeah, if we,
Make remarks myself, if.
You prefer to stand alone and not be a part of this discussion?
No, I want to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I have 4 pages of notes I plan to address as a judge and as a citizen to give you my opinion. So
yeah,
if you
could
want me
we
to do
have
that now,
Judge
I can do
Conrad?
Let's float this idea first, and then we'll have Sam's thoughts. The thought was somehow sharing jury resources. And so I personally went in and met with both judges and floated this idea. And we batted it around for about an hour, ultimately circling back to the historic courthouse and the courthouse and our current circuit court room, and the fact that that is well suited for any trial that these guys would see coming down the pipe. And what Sam and Chad actually offered up as a possible alternative to that would be a new court space that did not accommodate jury trials, but both judges, and again, compliments to these guys who are willing to put ego aside and endure some inconvenience to be able to accommodate a project that, number one, has a maximum number of dollars we want to spend, but number two, does it in a way that taxpayers are comfortable with, and that commission and council are comfortable with, and that is honoring some of the history of Adams County. Sam offered to begin to brainstorm the possibility of Superior Court moving into the first floor of the historic courthouse without removing the hallway, which I believe is probably the load-bearing walls and the structural part of that building. Obviously, we'd have engineers involved to answer that question. But, so push that back to Sam.
Could I just mention one thing?
Let me stay on a roll here, Doug, then you'll have your time.
All right.
Just a minute. So with that in mind, Sam has spent some time thinking about, can he put Superior Court into probably one side of the courthouse, with the other side probably with the other side of the hallway on the first floor being support offices. And he has come back to us and said that he believes that's possible. So in my mind then, I'm going, and this is just Steve Bailey speaking here. In my mind then, it's like, okay, if we could make that work, that being, I believe, the most costly part of any courthouse is probably the courtroom. If we could figure out how to make that work such that both Superior and Circuit Court remained in the historic courthouse, that would push, obviously, the prosecutor and the clerk into another space, as well as we still have probation, ideally, community corrections, and even possibly public defender. That then completes our judicial center departments and those that touch the court system. So again, this is a whole new approach. And I know we've talked about being done with trying to analyze this thing and trying to get to a decision. But I just felt like that it added enough new information, enough new options to the table that then might push us to a new, much smaller footprint building across 3rd Street that would house those other 5 functions and keep the court rooms in the historic courthouse. So that's been my thinking, again, after my personal conversation with both judges. And that's that's kind of where I'm at. Now, Doug, I cut you
Okay,
off, so.
all right, so this sounds like a fantastic idea. Okay, there's just a couple things that I'd like to mention. If we get serious about utilizing the existing courthouse for both courts, back to Steve's, I would want to make sure that the entirety infrastructure of the courthouse is investigated to make it good for at least 25 years. I would not want to proceed with an idea like this for the next set of leaders to have to decide, oh my gosh, why didn't they do the electrical when they were doing this? Why didn't they do HVAC when they were doing this? Why didn't they take a close look at structure of the courthouse in the basement when they did this? So I would want a thorough investigation of the courthouse itself for at least a 25-year period, understanding there's always gonna be yearly costs, et cetera. That's number one, okay? And that part of the renovation is gonna cost money. I have no idea how much, okay? The second thing that I would like to make sure that we're covering is, as Steve alluded to, you've got the clerk, you've got the prosecuting attorney, we've got community corrections, probation, possibly public defender. We still gotta find a spot for those. If we're going to deal with one old building, the courthouse, I'm not in favor of dealing with another old building here. So I think we're still looking at possibly a smaller footprint across the street for the entities I just mentioned. That's my take.
If I could point out one more thing, according to the original drawings of the courthouse, not only are the corridor walls, they're about 2 feet thick or 18 inches, but there's some other walls that run perpendicular to that also look very thick. So I don't know if they are structural also, but we would have to investigate.
When I look inside the clerk's office, I can see window to window with no perpendicular wall. The prosecutor's office, I can't see that. But again, I think that's worth investigation. But that's kind of a hybrid. And again, I don't think that's at all possible without our two judges that are willing to look at that as a concept. And kudos to them for being willing to do that. I know we've not considered that at all in any of our previous drawings or discussions, that there would be a courtroom that would be something less than the other courtroom, which is what we're talking about.
Right. Yeah, it's worth investigating.
Stan, thoughts, and then I want to get our judges' thoughts here.
Yeah, I met with the judges too, and I also met with Mike Schwartz from Limberlaws. So I appreciated you guys having him come up, because he kind of had some thoughts on the courthouse too, and estimating and stuff like that. So I think it would make a small courtroom, but I think it works, you know, and looking at a couple of the judges' drawings, I think it's very workable, and so we would have to investigate the footprint for a building across the street. I think without the courts in that building, we might be able to shrink it a little bit and still accommodate all the departments that we need to accommodate. And then once we demolish the Carnegie building, for parking, and then hopefully we would look at opportunities that the city currently provides as far as on-street parking, parking lot. Actually, even the city parking lot on First Street is only a block away too. I mean, there's parking, and everybody kind of talks that down. Oh, there's no parking indicator. Well, there really is. And I think, that's the thing to continue to work on. But like to Doug's point, I mean, if you're going to do that kind of renovation in an old building, I think you're 100% right. You have to look at it in how do you sustain that building in a modern environment for years to come. So, and if we have both courts there, then we'd probably have to make accommodations for a sally port and bringing prisoners in. So there's definitely needs to be an investigation. But I think it's got real potential, and I guess I'd like to hear from Judge Conrad. It's up to Steve, but.
Yeah, Sam, come on up.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off. I just wanted to get kind of the base laid out here.
But once again, I think Elevatus has done exactly what we asked them to do.
Yeah,
And in presenting this estimate and this option, we very much appreciate that, so.
we would not be where we're at today had we not really pursued the multiple different opportunities that Elevatus has helped us think through. The committee that met for 2 years, for quite some time.
Yeah.
Discussing options and bringing the needs forward. And, you know, it's, I told somebody the other day, even though it feels like it's been a long time and it's taken quite a while, this is a huge decision for us and a huge investment and something that we need to have everybody thinking through, helping us think through.
Thanks. And first, thanks for the opportunity to address the commissioners. You know, as a judge, when it comes to public issues, a lot of times, you know, ethically, I can't comment on those issues that would come before me. I have opinions, but I keep those to myself. But today, I wanted to be able to address. I know this is an issue. It deals with the judicial branch, specifically the needs of the branch. And I wanted to be able to speak with you gentlemen on behalf of myself, Judge Kukulhan. We have a judicial conference that starts today and through Thursday, so he's already down there. But then also Jeremy Brown, the prosecutor. The three of us have talked about this issue and what we see going forward, and we're all in unison and in agreement on the following thoughts. First of all, Superior Court needs a better location. Courthouses are monuments, not just office space. And the proposal that we're discussing here provides the needs, the needs of the court, but also significantly lowers a potential cost of any alternative plans. All commissioners and councilmen are aware of the inadequacy of the Superior Court. So I'm going to go through and take a big step back because there's been a lot of public discussion about what drives this decision. And I think it's appropriate for me to address those concerns, not just the plans that we've put together here. As I mentioned, all commissioners and councilmen are aware of the inadequacy of the Superior Court's current facilities from a safety perspective. It has not even been seriously debated. The U.S. Marshals Service has conducted an evaluation of the facilities of specifically Superior Court and has determined that the security of the building is, quote, extremely poor in comparison to modern standards. This impacts court staff, litigants, and the public. I've received state grants to improve the situation, and construction has already begun. In fact, it began this week. The Commissioners' Council and the Sheriff have also begun to take steps that drastically improve the security posture of the Superior Court. But only so much can be done to improve the security of the Superior Court in its current location. The court needs a safer location. Even if it were secure, the current location of the Superior Court is inadequate. The entrance is too small to accommodate any decently attended hearing. A line out of the door immediately forms when more than 10 people attempt to enter at once. The front door is a short distance from the courtroom itself. Once inside, a narrow hallway is the only waiting area when the courtroom fills up. As any juror will tell you, a bottleneck forms in the courtroom during each recess of the court. There is only one public restroom in the building to be shared by all jurors, litigants, attorneys, and the public. The hallway, doorways, and courtroom make a tight squeeze among friends, but an awkward and potentially dangerous encounter between defendants and victims, feuding ex-spouses, quarreling neighbors, and between friends and family of any of the aforementioned folks. It has been suggested by some that moving Superior Court is an example of spendthrift county government or an attempt by me to get a new office. This opinion is devoid of a serious consideration of the current situation and ignorant of the present facts on the ground. This is not an extravagance, it's basic needs and functionality of a local branch of government. Ensuring the adequate and properly functioning space to conduct the court's business is unlike space requests from any other government body. Limiting the public's access to the court system has constitutional implications. Our federal and state constitutions guarantee the right of the public to access the court system, which has been extended to pretrial hearings. Inadequate court space also implicates a litigant's due process rights. It is yet to be determined whether live streaming is an adequate substitute. We all know you can't fully replicate an in-person encounter through a screen. It should be universally understood the Adams Superior Court needs a new location. It has also been mentioned that the vast majority of Indiana courthouses are located in the middle of the county seat. It also has been mentioned as they are most often unique, ornate buildings that are preserved for generations. These are both true, but it's important to understand why this is true. Our historic courthouse is the heart of the county and the city. We still gather here for solemn occasions. On Memorial Day, we gather to remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. In April, we gathered to bring awareness of child abuse. Just this morning, you approved the National Day of Prayer. We place our most cherished monuments here. We honor military service on its grounds with monuments and a veterans wall. We honor the literary accomplishments of our county's most noted author. We were the first in the nation to honor the pursuit of peace, all in the heart of the county seat. But what is a heart that is no longer beating? Without the courts and the courthouse square is a nice memory rather than an alive, beating heart of our county. Ornate courthouses are also visual declarations that justice is a high and serious thing. The building itself communicates what happens there matters. Our historic courthouse reinforces accountability. A courthouse hidden away is a courthouse that operates in obscurity. When our forefathers placed it in the center of town, the tallest building in town, it meant that the community could see it, approach it, and monitor it. Open courts require visible courts. The architecture and location reinforce this principle. Our historic courthouse is a symbol. In a government of laws, the courthouse is the center of the community in a functional sense. Property disputes, family matters, criminal accountability, contracts. These things hold society together, and they all are resolved here. The physical placement simply acknowledges that truth. Our dignified stately courthouse commands respect. A beautiful building imposes a certain sobriety on those who enter it. Litigants, witnesses, lawyers, and jurors all experience the architecture before they experience the proceeding. That experience is not accidental. The grandeur signals you are accountable here. This is not ordinary ground. A normal-looking office building would communicate the opposite, that justice is an afterthought. Taken together, the beauty and placement of courthouses reflects the community's belief that law is not a technicality, it is the foundation of ordered liberty. When you approach the most ornate building in the county, with its intricate design, striking bell tower, and high-flying flag, you are meant to feel something. You are meant to feel the weight and dignity of what is about to happen. That feeling is not accidental. It was designed, and it was designed by people who understood our nation survives only as long as the citizens believe justice is real, accessible, and worthy of reverence. Our historic courthouse is full of character, and you can't build character. It can only be preserved. And make no mistake, without the courts and the courthouse, this county monument will deteriorate and become a relic. No other tenant will justify the expense to upkeep the building and to prevent it from being an eyesore and a safety risk. It may not be you, but future commissioners will have to make the decision to tear it down if you do not make its preservation a priority. That leads me all up to the proposal from your elected judges, prosecutor, and in fact, the clerk is also involved in this. Make the first step of this overall judicial facility protected by deciding to move the Superior Court into the first floor of the historic courthouse. This proposal, as Steve had mentioned, is a result of a challenge Steve gave Judge Kugelhahn and myself to consider readjusting the way we do things to accommodate both courts and the courthouse. Long story short, he encouraged us to consider just how coordinating jury trials may free up options for the Superior Court's new location. It means the Superior Court cannot conduct 12-person juries, but we think that we can still have 6-person juries in the Superior Court on the first floor. If a larger jury trial is needed, the circuit courtroom can be used. Both Judge Kugelhahn and myself know that the increased coordination between our courts can and will be done for the betterment of the public service our court system provides our citizens. This proposal does not require expensive structural changes in the historic courthouse as we understand them with regards to the hallway. It can be implemented using the current central hallway footprint. This plan consolidates security for both courts, increasing the Superior Court operating space and respects the monument that is our historical courthouse. Not being able to conduct large jury trials and increase docket coordination does reduce the flexibility that Superior Court currently enjoys while managing its docket. But Superior Court rarely conducts jury trials with 12-person jurors. It will also limit Circuit Court's current docket flexibility. But this is a sacrifice the judges are willing to make if it means improving the security and functionality of the Superior Court while also preserving our monumental courthouse, all at hopefully a cost savings for the taxpayer. It has been suggested that a possible solution is splitting up the courts, clerk, probation, community corrections, prosecutor, and public defender. Such a move would create problems rather than find a solution. Moreover, finding a nearby home for the clerk, probation, community corrections, prosecutor, and public defender will be easier when plans do not include constructing a courtroom. Office space is easier and cheaper to find without needing to accommodate a large courtroom. This could mean using office space in the annex, as has been mentioned. If that doesn't work, then a functional and efficient building across the street. And I'm also optimistic that the city of Decatur will provide parking to accommodate increased activity in downtown. Your elected judges, prosecutor, and clerk of this county are in the best position to explain the needs of the court system and what will work. As fiscal conservatives, we're cognizant of the balance between a properly functioning judiciary that is also acting as faithful stewards of the county's limited resources. We are unanimous that both courts should be in the historic courthouse for all of the aforementioned reasons. And I have a sketch. This will not do justice in anything that Dave has ever put together. Dave and I actually worked on a committee with Stan and went to a statewide conference specifically on courthouses, courtrooms, and those efficiencies. I think it was a benefit to all of us during the last 2 years. But I have something I drew up. This is not an architect. This is me on Microsoft Paint. So please don't hold it against me. I have copies for everybody here, just for reference. And so what this does, if we can put it on the overhead there.
Can I get one, Judge?
Yeah, I have only a couple here left. Let me give you one, and there's going to be one up here. I'm sure everybody will. What we look at here is from the first floor only. And so just to orient yourselves, you see starting on the left, that ramp that's currently there. Then you have the double doors, the long hallway that currently exists over to the right. And so what I've done here is to place the courtroom inside where the clerk currently is. That's that open space that we had discussed earlier. And then to have chambers, a restroom area, an exit door to the right, if you see that. Then, although not as ideal as building, just on flat ground, you'd have my staff then across the hallway. You see that there. And so then that would be their space. And obviously, I think Dave has done a good job in past renderings. This doesn't include storage closets and all sorts of stuff, but you get the general gist of that space. And then to the left of that, I refer to it as a lobby. But what my idea is right now there's no big meeting space for members of the public that come to court to discuss any matter. Right now we're in a tiny cramped hallway. So what that space would be tables and chairs for folks to meet, if they're taking a break from a trial, whatnot, to go across the hall and not have to be standing in the hallway. And then you'd have 2 public restrooms to the left. Now, my idea of a public restroom is not, a male and female restroom that has a large and spacious. Instead, what I was thinking is you'd have a one toilet, one sink, whatever you call those type of restrooms that are just one thing. The family restrooms I see at the airport, that type of stuff. But you'd have a couple of those placed because it's mindful of space. Then on the far left, both in the back of the courtroom and then in the lower left corner is consultation rooms for attorneys and their clients to meet privately. Then if you look just below the consultation room on the upper left is the security office. That currently, I believe, houses the IT. It's the IT closet, if you will. And my thought is that you have a security office there. Has a window to it, but then also right outside that door would have enough space, I believe, to house a X-ray machine and a magnetometer. And then all making that the security folks kind of centrally located there. Not on this drawing then, I think Stan indicated would be some sort of sally port / holding cells, that sort of thing. And the idea there, if the foundation would hold it and all that works, is if you see that large box in the lower part of the drawing, that's currently houses, I believe, a lot of election stuff. right, materials. That's all in the basement, and then just the top of that room kind of sticks out over the grass, but seems to me would be a candidate for a type of Sally Port. Like I said, there has not been an architect or an engineer that has looked at this, and this could be completely off base. But my whole point was just, as Steve challenged us to come up with a way that we could maintain the historic courthouse, its footprint. Can we still do justice on the first floor? And I think we can, and I think Judge Kugelhahn and I are willing to figure it out how that works. So.
Question, Judge.
Yeah.
How many people are you hoping to see in the gallery?
Similar to what I have now. It's a little longer. I've just walked it off. Shelley let me walk around in there and try to figure out estimating. I think it's just as narrow, but it's longer. And so the idea being, although jury trials are the biggest, that's the obvious large population of folks that are in the room at that time. However, you come to initial hearings at arraignments. I mean, my courtroom is full every day of the week, not every day of the week. During the week, there's always hearings that are busy. And so the security right now, as the marshals have found, is so poor. But what this gives me that I don't have now is a large, number one, security. And I think the sheriff will echo this. It puts both courts in the same building, so he can have one security for both courthouses, and he's statutorily required to provide that security. It also gives me a larger hallway, right? It's more movable. You have two doors coming in and out of the gallery instead of one. And so it provides a lot of things that I currently don't have, not to mention assembly port and holding cells.
Well done.
Thanks.
So, Dave, this qualifies you to give legal advice since he's given us architect. Whoa.
The thing is, very well done, Judge. I mean, everything you said is head on. I don't disagree. I just want Dave to take a close look at the existing courthouse and the infrastructure to make it problem-free as possible for the next set of commissioners, council members for at least 25 years. One of the things that we looked at previously about the courthouse was that spiral stairway that goes up. Something's got to be done with that. So as long as we get a thorough look and we need some type of a blueprint for meeting all the needs of the other offices across the street, and keeping in mind, not in my lane is paying for this. That's the council's job, totally. Our job is twofold. Obviously, name a location and meet the needs. And I like the proposal. I like it a lot. The question that's gonna come down when the rubber meets the road, it's gonna be cost.
Sure. And I didn't want to stand up without explaining, number one, as Dave indicated earlier, if you look at the lower portion of this, I just assumed, and you know what happens when you assume, that whole area where the lobby is and everything, that those are not structural. Even if they are, though, Judge Kugelhahn and I are committed to working with Dave to come up with, okay, I think that there's that something should be able to be worked there, and getting to a result that any way you slice it, I think that we can put, because of the space in the clerks alone, I think we can put the Superior Court on the first floor and invest for years to come in having both courts in our historic courthouse.
I think, our questions become, to what extent do we continue to pursue this option? Because if we're gonna want, or if we're gonna ask Elevatus to take this to the same level on the other proposal that he brought us today, I would assume there would be an additional fee.
Sure.
So.
Absolutely.
If we're willing to take this to that next extent, I guess I would like to ask Dave to, present us a proposal to develop this option and a footprint for a building across Third Street that might potentially have a smaller footprint to house the offices that might bring us closer to the price point we want to be.
Pro bono, to use a legal term.
Sure.
Well, to answer your question, Stan, I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Okay, Steve, what are you thinking?
I absolutely agree. I think I feel like this possibility has the most traction in my mind of anything that we've seen so far. And I realize that we haven't seen any costs yet, so we don't know what it's gonna cost us. I also realize, and I would like to work, the building that we build across the street, I think has to have a lot of the same type of understanding among those departments that we've had among our judges, and that is that we don't all need our own private conference room. We don't all need our own private training rooms. That we're gonna have a building across the street, if we do that, a building that is collaborative, that has a lot of shared common areas and a lot of shared common spaces, that houses offices. But it's probably not gonna be the square footage and that came about as some of our other proposals, or we're not gonna be able to afford it. And I think somebody said the other day that the easy solution, to be quite honest with you, from my perspective, and maybe from every commissioner's perspective, the easy solution all along has been go to the jail site. That's the easy solution. We're not tearing down buildings, but it does fracture county government, and it fractures our judicial system pretty significantly. Because we can't afford to go out there and build a justice center that's gonna be $35 or $40 million. We just can't do that. So in my mind, this has the best possibilities as long as we can be frugal in how we structure this judicial support area with all of the other offices that touch and work with our court system.
Dave, would you be willing to do one more study with us?
Yeah.
You're not tired of us yet?
No, but you need to clarify for me exactly what departments you want across the street.
Let me look into that.
Okay.
Probation, community corrections, clerk, public defender, and
Yeah.
prosecutor.
Go ahead, Judge. Tell
Those five.
Dave what you think needs
Yeah.
to be across there.
Clerk, probation and community corrections, public defender, and prosecutor. The five that have the most direct support performance.
Dave, in my head, just to give you some target to hit, that's a $14 million project with 20,000 square feet on 2 floors. Your homework, get her done.
Would you say how many million? 18?
14.
14?
That's a $14 million project, 20,000 square foot on 2 floors.
Plus soft cost.
We could have Arnold Lumber put up a pole barn over there.
We're not gonna do that. We're gonna do it right. We're gonna do it right. I think we're gonna have to be creative with how we fit departments together and how we share resources across those departments. Again, we do have a council member in the audience. Fred, what are you thinking?
So first, I do want to agree with what Doug said about the integrity of the existing courthouse. But I do think that you're gonna have those costs no matter what. I mean, that building, we do know already had some foundation issues, some plumbing issues, some HVAC issues, that no matter what, you're going to address those. I mean, we're not tearing down the historical courthouse. I don't think there's any appetite for that at all. And then, I would also just like us to remember that I think we have some available office space in this building. And then lastly, that I think we have a relationship with the city of Decatur, and as far as the location, you know, we're talking about across the street, but maybe the city of Decatur is willing to work with us on how that sits as far as connectivity to the existing courthouse. So just want to put those out there. I know we've all talked with the mayor, he's sitting here, of course, but it sounds like they're very interested in this as well, of course. So I think we should consider exactly how that's gonna sit there.
One of the things, Dave, that can help us as we think through the funding of this, and I know I've talked to the mayor and no commitment yet from them, but in my mind, we're gonna need help to make this work from the city of Decatur. And I mean, not more than just goodwill. I think we're gonna need them probably to come to the table with some parking for us, because we're gonna lose some parking through this process. We're also gonna bring parking needs in from community corrections. So I believe that we're gonna ask, I know I'm gonna ask the city of Decatur to come to the table with some assistance with providing some parking as part of this plan.
Yeah, the only thing I would add, you know, I'm for this project. But I just want to remind everyone, we do have an alternative. If it's totally cost prohibitive, we have an alternative to meet the immediate needs of security and the other things. But if this can be worked out, you know, I'm flexible enough to understand what the judge was saying.
Steve, if I can just throw one quick thing in there. As far as the funding goes, because I've been working back and forth with the state and I know what the thresholds are and all of that. And maybe Dave can even tell me, I don't know. If this plan were to work here and you do something separate, is there any way that could be considered two separate projects, each funded separately? To
I
avoid,
need to look back at the purchasing guidelines one more time, but I think that there is the potential that if you have the renovation of Circuit Court and then you also have the office space, that those are two separate projects for funding purposes.
so
You mean
each-
in relation to a referendum?
Correct.
you wouldn't have the two added together
They would be separate.
to go with a referendum or.
That's good to know.
From the standpoint of two different
Don't
projects.
take me at 100% on that.
Being-
I'll go back and make sure.
To make
but
sure.
I think there's definitely a high
Before
potential for that.
anything could be done, then I think the new building would have to go up first to enable any remodeling at the courthouse and enable any demolition of the current.
Yeah,
So
that sounds
I
like
think
two
the new
different
building would
projects
have
to me.
go up
I
first.
agree with that.
If that's the case, if one was 10 million, this one was 10 million, and they're separate, you're under the threshold on each of them.
That's
Just my
huge.
thought.
Sam, thanks for your thoughts. Anything else?
No,
For
thank
us?
you for the
Okay.
opportunity.
Thank you, Judge.
Dave, would you guys come on back up? You're still on the hot seat. You didn't get out of it yet.
Yeah, I've got a question.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Well, a couple of questions, and maybe we can address this with the heads of each of the entities, but we'll talk about co-locating probation and community corrections. To me, means on the same floor. As you know, that makes for a wide footprint. So once again, we'd have a wide footprint.
I want to work with you on that because I'm not convinced of that yet.
Well, even if we can cut some out, it's still gonna be wide. And you're gonna have a smaller footprint upstairs. assuming
Yeah.
with the clerk.
Yeah, we probably don't need to, yeah, we'll
So-
figure that out.
I guess my question is, can we put probation on one floor, community correction on another floor? And have a 2-floor?
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
plus the other
know
spaces.
why not. I think we're gonna be
And
flexible.
there's a
That work.
movement that
think
we're
that-
not, there's a movement that we're not sure of, but Clayton, fill me in here.
Well, and Mr. Ian Gilbert, the head of community corrections, is bringing, I don't know if you guys were here necessarily when he brought it up recently, but there is a heavy movement in Indiana to actually consolidate the entities
too.
of community corrections and probation. So I think it's at least his opinion and probably the same of Mr. Odell, head of probation. They should potentially be on the same floor if that movement continues and they are eventually
Right.
one department.
And there have been some counties that's already moved in that direction, right, Clayton?
Correct.
They could share some office space if they had to.
Right. Okay,
I'd
well,
like
that'll be
to-
a challenge, but we
yeah.
can work through that.
Yeah, I'd like to work with you on that, I think.
Well,
Okay.
and see, I think it's to our advantage, you know, to have the history that you have on this project. Because you've done extensive space studies, you know, physical space, but also space studies with department heads, traffic flow. I mean, you've just got that in your head as far as all the legwork you've done to look at these departments. I think it's gonna be to our advantage to have you help us with this.
You can probably shut
that
that
off,
off, Steve.
And do I meet with Shelley on the clerk and how much space the new clerk space?
I think we've got that. I think you've got some
There's a lot of storage that's,
We're not gonna store in
Involved.
this building. We're gonna
Okay.
store in this
Yeah,
building.
we can, we
We're
can
gonna move
find room
storage to
in
this
here.
building.
We can find room in here.
So,
Okay.
so those are the kind of things that I'd like to work with you directly on,
Okay.
Dave.
I know she loves going to Burn and she loves coming down the basement of the court.
I know.
how much do you want to address? The basement obviously is in not very good shape.
The basement of the courthouse.
Yes. How much do you want to address?
I'd like to see that building good for 25 years.
Okay.
Because why do we want to spend a considerable amount of money and let the next set of commissioners deal with, oh my gosh, when they were doing this, why didn't they do it right?
I believe there's waterproofing issues and that would need to be addressed. And then what do you do
Sure.
with the spaces? I assume if it becomes waterproofed and then you would just use that for storage kind of spaces,
Maybe.
get rid of the bathroom.
I know, we're
rid
talking
of the
about
bathrooms.
a consolidated document storage area in this building that would be high quality, high grade, and we've already got money budgeted to build that. So I think,
One of the ideas that was floated was the Sally Port that brought prisoners in through the basement. So I don't know if that's an option.
yeah, I think that might be where we go
Yeah,
with
but
that.
the HV, I know right now, we were gonna spend close to $500,000 on just the heating system in that building. And so, you know,
But I also remember, we asked you all to give us some thoughts on that building early on in this process to make sure that we had a structure there that was worth saving. And the bottom line was, even though there were some mechanical challenges and some superficial challenges, structurally, I believe you reported back to us, that building was sound and really no structural concerns. Even though there's some
believe that's
cosmetic
correct.
things we need to work
I
on
believe that's correct.
and some
Yeah.
systems things.
Yeah.
I think that's an important aspect of what we're dealing with here, because
Right.
I agree with Doug. When we walk away from this project, we don't want to let commissioners trying to figure out if we made the right decision or not, because something that we counted on is failing.
yeah, and what better time is there to update some things than when you're under construction?
Right.
There can't be a better time.
Yeah.
So do it now. If we need electrical, do it now. If we need a new heating system, do it now. Even though it's gonna cost money, that, it's a savings in the long run.
Did Judge Conrad leave?
He did.
He did.
I'm assuming that Judge Kukulhan would be willing to live with some noise during construction because there's
Well,
gonna be noise
I
during
don't think-
construction.
I
I don't
will.
think a problem there.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I would say, if
We
he-
lived with it
I
over
would
here
say
for a
that, if he has something that he's going to have a problem with that again, given that they're obviously going to be cooperating, I'm sure he can maybe schedule a hearing over even in Judge Conrad's court.
Well,
or-
we've even talked about, our backup court system is our room 124 downstairs.
Correct.
That's our,
Yeah.
that's our emergency operations plan, what do you call it? COOP plan. So we have plans to operate a court hearing in this building. And if that, that's not ideal, but that's possible.
You know, one thing, Steve, I know that you said all along, hey, we're gonna make a decision by the end of April. You know, that might not be possible.
No,
That might not be possible.
and honestly,
No,
this.
and so we might as well clear the air right now on that.
This possibility really wasn't a possibility, or when
think
I
it's,
thought we were gonna get this report today and we were gonna make a decision today.
Yeah,
And
so
I
let's-
don't
let's
think
just
any of
clear-
us are ready
let's
to make
just
that
clear the
decision
air on
today.
that, Steve. I don't wanna put you in a corner on that, okay?
One other thing I want to mention is, by code, you have to have a certain number of restroom facilities. And with this plan that the judge presented, there may not be enough. So
Obviously,
I'm thinking is,
you've gotta plug all those
do what
gaps.
they
you
for us.
may want to keep the
You've gotta
basement
plug
one.
all those
You
gaps
gotta,
for
you gotta
us.
take care of us on that.
May want to
Dave.
keep the basement ones even though they,
Sure,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Sure.
just bringing
Yeah,
that up.
Agreed.
Okay, great.
agreed. Well, what have you heard today that scares you?
Besides money.
14 million?
Other than $14 million.
Oh, boy.
Well,
I don't know, we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. We can't hold him to that right now.
That's 20,000 square foot, $600 a square foot plus soft costs.
It'd
Just
be
how I
easy-
got that number.
Well,
It'd be easier if Clayton showed you.
yeah, he's gonna have to do what he has to do.
I wasn't sure he'd get scared. I just figured he'd get tired of it.
I know, we're gonna wear him out.
Well, he's,
So you're trying to hit the $19 million is the top.
Yeah, I,
So-
I think 19 to, and
Well-
again, let's figure out if that's doable.
that's a council thing.
Yeah.
I think part of it too is, we've got the space studies and we don't want to shoehorn departments into an unusable space. And if there is an option of splitting it into two projects, I'm not saying we want to do that to deceive anyone. But I think there's very, very real reasons we're doing this project. And, we don't want to set those reasons aside and say, oh, well, sorry, we're gonna do this halfway, to stay under our limit. But I'm not saying we've got the freedom to just spend whatever we want. But I guess I'm kind of going back to what predicated this whole project were the needs of our judicial system. And I think we need to honor that the best way we can.
I agree. I just know that if this project continues, if this project is a 24, 25 or $26 million project, the easy button is out at the jail site. We've already got a budget estimate there. We know what we would spend. We know we would meet the immediate needs of moving out of the Superior Court building. And if that's not the best solution, I don't want to have to go that route. But that's the easy solution, to be quite honest with you, from my perspective.
Yeah.
But the jail option is not 14 million.
But it was 16-ish.
It was 16 plus. soft.
16, yep, 16
Yeah.
plus soft costs.
And
I
that,
don't know the exact number, but I know generally what you gave us.
and that's an option that pushes the can down the road to future commissioners.
It does.
Yeah.
So,
Take enough time here.
yeah, what I want to do, Dave, if you guys have more questions, let's talk about that. We did move Mark Wynn out of a slot in the agenda. So I'm gonna bump back to that and then we'll come back to
Are we
comments,
officially,
finish your comments.
No,
giving him direction to do another
Yeah.
study?
I think we are.
Yeah.
If you got enough information to
Yeah,
get working.
I'll email you with the fee.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
we'll get moving.
okay,
Good deal.
Yep,
Very good.
thanks,
Thank you.
Dave.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
How about hit the rest real quick?
Sure. Mark, come on up, get settled in. Let's get you, I know you've got, I don't know, you have bigger fish to fry, but you have other fish to fry today.
That study when it comes in, they have to look at an additional.
I'd like to fry this one you're talking about.
I know
Yeah,
you're
Mark,
not
if you
totally
got
uninterested in our
You
conversation
may wanna
today.
run for commissioner sometime.
I'd like to help you.
Oh, we may wanna fire this little machine back up, won't we? If you got, are we gonna look at yeah, we got projects to look at today.
Wasn't sure.
60.
Chief of staff.
In my world.
I did not. It's down here. Doug, would you hand me that paper laying right there on top?
I
It's
never
stacked, yeah,
had to
right
go to
there.
the door. I only had it for the, badge.
And so I'll make a photocopy, then I gotta give this a copy down to Bob so he can get that going.
He's talking to Mike, see where the line. he can-
Correct.
Then if there is, he always gotta, he can put the claim in himself when the invoice comes in. You know?
Yeah.
These unattached buildings, are those unattached buildings mostly Amish?
Probably because of the extra barns and storage sheds, tool sheds.
Buggy sheds.
Yep.
We'll need the invoice to pay off that.
Correct.
Okay, Mark, you're on.
All right. Okay, well, you can see where we're at with giving out permits. Slightly busy, 60 for the month of March. 8 ahead of last year. And so far 15 ahead of last year's total. As the weather's been breaking, we've been
Sure.
very busy.
Yeah, yeah.
Footings are going in the ground and things are taking off.
Dollar amounts are down.
Yeah, a little bit.
Good.
I don't have any questions, so
Nope.
Stan, unless you
Well,
have questions, I move that we
Accept that.
approve the March report that Mark's given us here.
I'll second that.
Okay, that motion passes.
And I will tell you just real quick, I should have said the mobile homes you see on there.
Uh-huh.
Two things are happening right now is the Pickle Estates is getting, I don't know if they're gonna end up doing all of them, but they've done several brand new units.
Good.
And also, finally, up north, on 1100, they have brought in brand new units. Got the guardrail up, everything that we asked for a long time ago.
On Minnick Road right there.
Yeah, different management.
That's exciting.
Different, same owners, different management. and They have
Good.
totally done what they originally said they would do. So we're heading in the right direction.
Good.
Great. I think that's great news.
All right. Do these.
Share this. I'll give the little one here under the. Maybe I will.
So this, property sold at auction, I believe, month or so ago. And it is redrawing and reshaping these lots. There's same number, just changed. I can't explain who's getting what and what they're doing with them all. This is the property that Ralph Biggs
Oh, yeah, got it.
owned right here.
Okay, but it's the same owners or property.
It got
owners?
sold at auction, so it's now, I don't know if one person bought all of it and they're breaking it up, I don't actually know that.
Okay.
They came back on, though, don't touch that money yet, dude.
So they're taking this little piece right there and putting it in there, right?
Yep,
It looks,
they've all changed a little bit, this one
So
goes
you
clear
got-
back to the
yeah,
ditch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many you got here? On the
There's
old one?
6.
Six.
See,
How
when
many you got
it,
here?
when it auctioned off, it was 4 lots. It was the house and all this river ground, this lot, and this lot. And then it was bid off with, this lot. Somebody bought this lot, somebody bought this lot, somebody lot, and they bought these. And then it started splitting up after that. So after the auction was over, it just started.
Are we okay on splitting partials?
Well, it's 6 lots today.
Yeah.
So even though this was sold as one, it's
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are still 6.
Oh.
So there's
okay.
no added lot here, they're just
They're
different
not,
shapes.
okay.
Now, is this a subdivision? Is this a small
It's just
subdivision?
a replat.
Okay,
It's a replat.
but what's the zoning on this?
That was a subdivision, it's a R1.
It's a major subdivision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Because it,
back then,
or maybe it
so
was.
back when that happened,
Oh, yeah.
it probably was a major because it's 6 lots and we
Okay.
would have had over 5.
Because now they've got sewer access.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
I
You guys-
motion to
You guys
approve.
good? Okay.
I'll
This
second.
was
Approved?
done before I was here.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion passes. Go ahead. Can I have that? I'm just gonna flash this up on the screen real quick
Yeah, there we
so
go.
people know what we're talking about.
You got another, you got more?
One more.
Yeah, that was a crazy auction this afternoon.
When did that auction?
Oh, about a month ago. Yeah. We got it, and it was under there. They had about 8 different offers.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then that was funny that when it got up, they split up.
What's that?
Immersion in no pollinators, because it's no pounds for the river. Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's not river.
No. I don't think there was any.
This little cleanup.
Those, for damage, one across the main, stuff like that.
Okay, this is just a minor, but they're actually completing something that was done a long time ago. So 3L Acres, this is 900 just across from Row Acres, north side. This street and cul-de-sac and these lots have been here for quite some time. There's a house on each one of them. And now that there's sewer.
Sure.
doing three.
Wow, good,
So I meant to
good.
do.
That's the objective, yeah. Nice.
I move that we accept the, three L acres.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Doug, seconded by Stan, that passes.
You want that?
Yeah.
We're just signing on this
Flash it
right
up
here.
here.
It's 5. I got 4 numbers here. There are 4
Steve,
numbers.
that's not a toy.
Love it.
It certainly is.
There are 4 numbers. 4 lots, right?
Stan got to play
I
with
got,
it
we
the
got 4
first
numbers.
day.
You got 5, you got 4.
I know, I'm one to talk.
Your
to.
morning shot, Joe.
Okay, so 16 not in there, okay, good. 16 was the whole thing. Wow, that's why this line's drawn through it all. That was the original. That was the starting point. That's all I got.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Sorry to keep you waiting, buddy.
No, no. Thank you.
See ya.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, there you go, there he's coming back. Clayton, what have you got for us this morning?
First, I have a proposed or assigned abatement agreement, for, lot 46 on Paradise Lane. Exact same as all of the others. And also, to alert you all pursuant to this abatement agreement, so whenever a property owner feels that they have complied and properly abated, I'm preparing a form, pursuant to this agreement for them to come and sign. And then I'll be working with the sheriff's department, the relevant deputies to then take that form and the assurance that they're done and go inspect and make sure it's in compliance to confirm that with my office.
Good.
So I would just ask for a motion to approve this and then have Steve sign it.
Was a lot number.
So move.
Lot 46.
46. Second.
Motion passes.
I don't know why I'm standing.
No, I don't look at, been out by there recently, but there has been lots of improvement.
Yes.
There's, debris that needs cleaned up, and now the word's breaking, they should be able to get to that, but there has been market improvement.
And I mentioned that last week, that there is a majority of the kind of decrepit trailers that have been already demolished, and now it's just the
And
debris.
removed. There's just some debris that they gotta.
What do they do with all the tires? Man, there's a ton of tires.
That is gonna be an issue. We were talking about that just a little bit ago, that they're gonna have to hire a company or take them and show them. That's gonna cost them whoever some money to get. rid of
Does,
the tires.
does solid waste have a tire day yet?
I don't know if they do that anymore. or not.
They had a grant to do that last year twice. You might wanna, Tara, I think, got that grant. And there were 2 tire amnesty dates.
Joe's right here. He's gonna check it out for you, Sheriff.
There might have been a limit on the number of tires they could accept.
Yeah, that I
I
don't
think
know.
that, well, I mean, I remember in other days, they had so many semi trailers or something that they could fill, and once they filled them, they
It
were
was
done.
very successful.
And they had to be off the rims, right?
Can you keep
I
that?
believe so.
It's just-
From what I see, most of them out there are.
Well, I guess I'm just saying, if those people are making the effort, I'd love to facilitate it however.
What else have you got for us, Clayton?
And well, just briefly on that, because I remember I've spoken to the one property owner who the tires is gonna be the biggest hurdle with, given the cost. So I think, yeah, further pursuing that, we'll make sure that we get it cleaned up, because I know that was a major concern, that they just don't have the money to take all those tires
Is
at
there
one
still
time.
somebody in the county that grinds tires? Didn't RJ Reynolds used to do that, or?
I'm not sure.
It seems like we used
Well,
to.
there was a place up in Manly one day.
There's more about 5 East, but they don't do it. They don't.
No, they're not.
All right, second, I'd like to introduce to you all today, I did send it via email late last evening, I apologize for the late hour. Or it would be named ordinance 2026-4. The short title would be an ordinance regulating parking on county-owned property. Pursuant to our previous discussions, this would be an ordinance which again would call for the enforcement of certain parking, prohibitions and or restrictions on county-owned lots. For instance, prohibited conduct, there's 9 enumerated, but it would be including but not limited to, parking in such lots for the purpose of storage or long-term parking. Parking a vehicle that is not an authorized vehicle in a space specifically designated for an authorized vehicle if we decide to make such spaces. Stop, stand, or park a vehicle in any area not designated for parking, park an inoperable vehicle, perform non-emergency vehicle maintenance. Again, we've all clearly identified some of the problems in some of the county lots with people at this point, completely disregarding even the parking lines. And this ordinance, as we previously discussed, should take care of it. The one question I had, and it can be approved after we determine this, and I can simply have it finalized for the public hearing, is who the designated county office or officer will be for implementation purposes, in that upon having a public hearing and then adoption of this ordinance, it will need advertised once more its adoption. After 10 days of that adoption advertisement, we will then need signage in order to enforce the same, which will indicate the ordinance number under which enforcement is being performed. So really the implementation of what county department is going to be in charge of obtaining and implementing that signage is the question I had for you all today.
I think Rick usually does.
Feels like Rick. I would think our buildings and grounds director would be responsible.
Like
for
when
that.
we marked off those spots for the treasurer out here or whatever, I think he went and got signs for
And the
that.
visitor parking.
Yeah.
So you need ordinance 2026-4, you need it just introduced today, or?
Correct.
I move that we introduce ordinance 2026-4.
Second.
Motion passes.
And then again, just
We'll
for,
look at that again next week.
well, yes, and it won't actually be able to be next week, as we only
Okay.
have 7 days. I'll need to, and I'll try to get it done this week, is an advertisement out for the public hearing. If you're all comfortable with that, I'll just have that set for the usual start time for commissioners meetings. We'll have that first. Following that public hearing, then it can be adopted.
Good. Good deal. What else have you got for us, Clayton?
I don't believe I have anything further at this time unless you guys have any questions.
I laid a claim there, document there in front of you. Just take a look at that and keep us out of trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure thing.
Okay, Shannon, what have you got for us this morning? I don't think honestly there's anything to it, but.
There's not.
Somebody leave their phone there?
Yes, don't look at the phone.
Uh-oh.
Could it be that Mia?
I like calling, but they won't answer.
Start taking a bunch of pictures with it.
Probably call Dave Scholl wherever he
Either
is.
Dave or Mark, they're the only two.
Trust that guy?
It's Mark's.
Is it Mark's? I think.
The only thing I have for you today is I sent you guys some updated job descriptions that goes along with the updated work chart that Sheriff presented this morning to council. It's just revising duties of 3 different positions. There's no additional staff or anything like that. It's just updated duties.
And you worked with the sheriff on those?
Yes, yep, we're in agreement. No, it's okay. We're in agreement that that's how he wants them.
Guys have any questions on those?
I don't.
If not, we just need a motion to approve.
Do you have anything you wanted to speak to?
No, just in case you have questions. We've had many conversations over it and it fulfills the need.
Want to make that motion, Stan?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Stan, seconded by Doug. Those job descriptions are approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your work on that. Is that all you have, Shannon?
Yes, thank you.
Anything else before I open it up to the public?
I'm okay.
Okay, public comment. What are you thinking? Gene? Please come up, identify yourself, and
As they can't hear.
are you coming as a group? That's great.
Yeah, we are.
Come on up.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Max Miller of Decatur Main Street. I'm here with some of our board members, Kelly Anger, Kim Brandt, and our Executive Director, Taylor Brown. Just here to talk a little bit about the court. You guys have been talking a lot about it this morning. We had a meeting with our board to say as a group where we stand on the court. And we did email them out. I don't know if you all got them, but I do have copies there. Basically, it says, Dear Adams County Commissioners, whereas Decatur Main Street was reorganized in 2014 with the express mission of strengthening downtown businesses, encouraging historic preservation, and supporting the revitalization and long-term economic health of the downtown district. And whereas Decatur Main Street is now an accredited Indiana Main Street organization and serves as a steward of the economic vitality, historic character, and future development of the heart of Decatur. And whereas the city of Decatur was formally selected and designated as the county seat of Adams County through legislative action in 1836, and has since served as the civic, governmental, and historic center of the county. And whereas county courts, county offices, and related public service functions as essential anchor institutions that generate consistent weekday foot traffic for downtown restaurants, retail stores, service businesses, and professional offices. And whereas the continued presence of county judicial and administrative functions downtown directly supports current business investments, future upper story housing opportunities, walkability, public safety, and long-term private reinvestment in the downtown district. And whereas maintaining strong civic activity in the county seat preserves the historic courthouse as a symbol of public trust, civic identity, and the community's shared heritage. Now, therefore, being resolved, the Board of Directors of Decatur Main Street strongly supports maintaining the Adams County courts and county offices within downtown Decatur, and respectively urges the Adams County Commissioners and County Council to prioritize reinvestment in historic courthouse and surrounding downtown government facilities, rather than relocating these core public services away from the county seat. Be further resolved that Decatur Main Street believes the continued downtown location of these services is vital to preserving economic momentum, supporting local businesses, encouraging upper story housing development, and sustaining the long-term vitality of the downtown Decatur. Best regards, the Decatur Main Street Board of Directors, and you can see they are listed there. Very good.
Very well, very well. We
All right, thank you.
appreciate that, and your input is definitely important to us. And Max, as we all know, the bottom line is gonna be cost.
Right.
Hopefully it'll work out.
And too, on a personal note, as historian, as Sam mentioned, the courtrooms are more of a historic thing. It's not just offices, that's why,
I
of
get
course,
it.
we push the whole courthouse.
I get it. Thank you.
Anything else?
Any questions?
Good.
No,
Thank you.
thanks,
Thank you
Max.
all.
Yeah. no
Spent a
problem.
Gene,
lot
come
of
on up.
time waiting here. Gene, come on up, Gene.
Thanks,
Thank you, Max.
Max, if we keep it downtown, do we get a pizza party? Wait, that'd be a bribe.
Yeah, I'm not sure we want to go there, Stan.
Being recorded, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Gene.
Gene.
Hi, yeah, so I just wanted to, put some history to the Carnegie Building a little bit. Of course, we all know it was built in 1904 as a learning center open to the public, which we hadn't had. So it's historically important in its purpose. I was part of a Friends of the Carnegie Building group who in, 2014 to 16, our sole purpose was to save the Carnegie Building from being demolished, and we were successful in that. It was proven in 2010, then again in 2014 by Engineering Resources that the foundation was sound. There were some cracks and things that needed to be addressed and roofing, and I know that you have taken care of that and been good stewards of the building. Again, it was assessed by MKM architectural firm in 2016. That was still indeed the case, that it was architecturally sound. So it is a building that is able to be saved. It is deemed the second most important historical building in Adams County. Of course, the courthouse being the number one. The Carnegie Building was, is, and still is number two, still deemed that importance.
Who was that? What?
That was
how does that
Indiana
come about?
Landmarks.
Okay.
Yes, Indiana Landmarks, and we worked closely with them. In fact, they felt that it is such an important building that it needs to be protected by Indiana Landmarks, but they have certain thresholds that have to be met. The number one, the threshold that was keeping it back from that was the facade, that the facade needed to be returned back to the proper steps that it had. You know, it has the side entrances and everything, but the steps, the facade that was put on there in the, I don't know, was it the 70s or something, is not at all, you know, it makes the building not eligible for landmark status at that point. So, but it would not be, we would not be good stewards of this important building if we were to demolish it for 20 parking spaces. We would not be good stewards of our historically important building and what it means to a community, what it was initially set out to be and what it can be.
Gene, how would you propose, if it were to remain, how would you propose that maintenance and preservation of it would be funded?
I'm glad you asked that, Steve. We do have a small party that would be interested in saving the Carnegie Building. And we would want to make it into an exploration place for children, which would bring visitors from around the region.
Okay, since Max is right here, would the Decatur Main Street have any involvement in teaming up with your objective, Gene?
Oh, we haven't been in touch with each other.
I mean, part of us
on
were
that.
part of it back,
We were,
12 years ago. Yeah,
We were on
and
the
Main
same
Street,
committee.
part of their whole thing, and we did just become accredited, which opens us up to other grants funding from the state on historic preservation.
Yeah.
Of course, we'd have to apply for it, see if we get it.
Well,
but-
you know, I'm really glad that, Gene, you came in and you give us an updated briefing of what you could foresee that building for, because, you know, hopefully the project we just discussed will actually go forward. And if that's the case, you know, one of the next concerns that we're gonna have is that building.
I understand,
Mhm.
yes. And just from a personal note, we have been to several of these types of exploration centers that are more focused on 6 months to 10 years old. So bringing in young, vibrant families. We've gone and there we see many 3 generations, you know, grandparents, parents, children in these places on the weekend.
Well,
And then you go to a restaurant afterwards and they're the same people, you know, several family units you recognize.
I think, Steve, we got 2 things that's very interesting this morning. One, the city of Decatur evidently has come to the table and willing to help assist us with some parking. That's good. And the second thing is, you know, we got the possibility of not having to worry about paying a demolition cost for this building.
Could be.
So, you know, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Sure, thanks for coming.
Thanks, Gene.
Anybody else from the public, thoughts? Anything else, guys?
No,
If not,
will we adjourn?
okay,
Second.
we're adjourned.